Hello and welcome to the climate update. We're going to be going over some of the things that are going on in the world with the weather, and a couple of things a couple of articles I want to read to you about too. The first thing we're going to actually do is look at Ventu Sky and show you what's going on across the country as a whole. We're going to pull out and just show you all the heat across the country that is going on, and there's just tons and tons of heat across the United States right now. And you can see, look around here, Oklahoma City, look at this flow here, 90s, temperatures up to 100, all the way up. And look, we're almost in Minnesota now, temperatures still very hot. A lot of heat all around, even up into Canada. You can see we are now looking into Canada, and you can see here temperatures are into the 70s here. And even if you go all the way up here, look at this. Temperatures near 80. Even here, you're practically almost in the Arctic Circle, which is crazy. But again, these wavy jet streams, due to climate change, are causing these crazy patterns to develop. And you can see, looking at this, you can clearly see where the ridges and all the heat that is involved. And we have heat also in Russia as well. If I move this back, I was looking at this last night and looking at some of the heat around here. So I'm going to actually move this back to, I think it's 2, yeah, because you remember the times are different over there. So look at how hot it is over here. Alright, Moscow is over here. Alright, they're not getting too bad, but if you head further east, look at some of the heat going into Siberia, near 90 degrees in parts of Siberia, which is crazy warm. But again, we have these jet streams that are just erratic and causing these erratic patterns that we're seeing right now, and that's why we're seeing what we're seeing. So now we're going to look at the dew points and show you the humidity that is coming in as well. And Earth Null School doesn't offer humidity, so we have to use look at these dew points. We have dew points up. Looks like we have some 80-degree dew points going up around Memphis. Look at these high dew points all the way up. These are areas that are supposed to be cool. Milwaukee, dew point 77. Chicago, dew point 80 degrees. Minneapolis, dew point 77. It's never supposed to get that humid this far north. Never. Look at how far the humidity extends. All the way up in here. This shows you the story of the jet stream. Looking at these dew points. This shows you the story of the jet stream. Let's take a look at this again. You have this humidity. This is crazy humidity that we're seeing here, and you can clearly see the outline of that ridge and the jet stream. So we now go and we look at the jet stream, and this is the issue that we have. When we go and we look at the jet stream here, we'll look at it at here, and you'll be able to see. Look at how messed up this jet stream is. Okay, so all right, first glance doesn't look too bad, but let me pull out and show you what's going on. So what is going on here? We have a totally messed up jet stream. So there's a split jet stream. This must be the subtropical jet, but this is way up north. Not supposed to be this far north at all. This is the other jet stream, all kinked up. Look at these kinks. There's one right there, another one. Look at these kinks over Europe. So it's just the jet streams are just breaking down. They are breaking down. That is crazy. And this jet stream pattern is what's going to cause this ridge to get worse. So if I change the date we'll change it into Saturday, the jet stream. You see more of a ridge in the east. Look at this. Look at this mess of a jet stream. It's completely disorganized. I mean, it's insanity. It's insanity. It really is insanity. So it all ties into the warming in the Arctic, and the ice loss is a big part of that. So let's take a look at this little graph here that we have, Arctic sea ice extent. Look at where we are. This blue line is 2019. We're almost at the minimum, all right? And it's going to drop a lot more than that. A lot more than that as we go into the period. So this is what we have here. It says, beware of the Ides of July. So we have matched loss rates observed in 2012, which is also a very hot summer for us. So keep that in mind, that in 2012 we had a very hot summer and there was a minimum sea ice. So there's a direct correlation between sea ice minimums and a lot of heat and humidity in North America. So they're saying projections suggest that a record will not be set this year. I don't agree with that. I think they were told to say that by that orange-faced blowhard that we have sitting in the White House. So you can see, look at this. All this stuff in blue, you see, this is all going to melt. And you're just going to be left with a little bit of ice right here. I mean, we're only in July. The minimums usually don't start. I don't think we get to minimum until late September and early October. So we have a long way to go. And I think we will set a new record minimum. I disagree with that assessment. Judging by looking at this right now, this is a very, very low amount of sea ice to have. And like I said, direct correlation between that. And so here's an article that I want to show you here. This was written by New Jersey 101.5. New Jersey, and New Jersey is taking this on the chin as far as climate change because they don't even have moderating effect of the sea breeze. They deal with the worst of it. So a new report predicts that New Jersey, much like the world, will see a growing number of dangerously hot days by mid-century unless aggressive steps are now taken to decrease heat-trapping emissions. So it's all due to climate change. She said the study focuses on the heat index. And now analysis found between 1971 and 2000 in New Jersey, there was an average of 3 days a year where the real field temperatures rose above 100. But if we continue to follow this pattern with no meaningful action, it will go to 24 days a year by mid-century and 50 days a year by the end of the century. So New Jersey is going to get really oppressive. And it's already getting oppressive, and like I said, I think they're being very conservative in these estimates. I really do. So let's now go look at earthandoildschool.net. Now, I like to use this site for looking at the sea surface temperature anomalies and the smoke and all that other stuff, and we will look at that too. So let's first start looking at the sea surface temperature anomalies. We're going to look at this, and the brighter the red, the bigger the anomaly, and you can see a lot of warm water off the east coast here. This is, again, prime greening down for tropical systems, of course. Then we have a lot of warm water here. You can see this tongue of cool water coming down here. That's from all the ice melt. And then look off this coast. Look at the anomalies off the Alaska coast. You have these bright yellow colors. Those are huge anomalies. So those bright yellow colors, 5.2 degrees Celsius. That is the anomaly. That is how much higher it is than it's supposed to be, and it's 9.3 degrees Fahrenheit higher than it's supposed to be. So almost 10 degrees above normal the water temperatures are Fahrenheit, which is quite substantial. And this contributes to a lot of warming in Alaska and in the Arctic. All this warm water, all this heat transport going into the Arctic, and look at that. Oh my gosh, a 17.1 anomaly. Oh, 14.5. So these are some crazy anomalies. So now we're going to switch to the actual sea surface temperatures and show you what the actual sea surface temperatures are in this area here. So in that area, we have a sea surface temperature of 64 degrees, which sounds cool, but for that area, it's very warm. Here, we have a sea surface temperature of 49.5, 51. Never supposed to see water this warm. And it's entering into the Arctic, and this water gets in and it starts melting the ice. And that's what's going on. That's what we're seeing here. You look at these anomalies, looking all around the Arctic, you see these warm water anomalies coming into the Arctic, getting in there and melting the ice. And as the Arctic warms, it gets hotter and hotter for us here in the United States, and also creates these jet stream patterns that are out of whack because, again, the jet stream is powered by the difference between the equator and the poles. The warmer the poles are, less of a difference between the equator and the poles. The jet streams weaken and get very wavy, and you have the we're gonna, speaking of the jet stream, we're gonna look at it again on here. They get wavy, they get disorganized, they get knotted up, and again, I've never seen jet streams do this. What is going on here? It's like a bunch of tangled wires. I mean, this is crazy. This is crazy. It's not supposed to look like this. Look at this huge ridge over Greenland. This is transporting a lot of heat probably into Greenland and melting ice there. So this all raises the sea levels. So, yeah, you have a big problem. And then we can go to the southern hemisphere and notice that the same thing is going on in the southern hemisphere too. Look at this. Same thing. Look at this. Same thing. So again, because the Antarctica is warming too, we're seeing it's affecting the whole planet. It's affecting the whole planet, and we are not in a good situation right now. So we have this messed up jet stream, and let's take a look and see what it's doing to the temperatures here. We're going to actually use this site here and look at the temperatures. We're going to put this back down to the surface, though. We've got to move this back to surface here and show you, again, these warm temperatures that are going way up further north than they should ever go. And if we're also going to look at things like total precipitable water. This shows you where all the moist areas, you can see all the humidity here. This really is a good way of looking at the humidity, too, if we remove this here. So you can see the areas in bright blue are the areas that have higher moisture content and can produce more rain, and the areas in the brown are drier. And so you can see the general trend: west is dry, east is wet. We see that already with the humidity, with the tropics just coming straight up the east coast because the jet stream is not keeping it to the south where it belongs. And then we have another thing called total cloud water. Right, that's another thing we can look at as well. There are a lot of interesting parameters. Misery index. This is also very interesting. So this is the misery index. This kind of shows you where it's uncomfortably hot. And look at this, all the way up into Minnesota, you have this huge heat bubble right here, and then a little bit on the East Coast. And this is the misery index for today. Today wasn't that bad. Let's move this a day ahead. Let's go up one day, so you can see what happens here. Let's go to Saturday. So now look at that. So now we're in the reds, and we're dealing with a lot of misery across our area, just uncomfortable heat across our area as we deal with these high dew points. Very uncomfortable situation. Let's look around the world, though. Let's look around the world and see what other areas of the world are dealing with this uncomfortable misery. You can see even Africa is not, because it's a dry heat. But look at how bad it is here in parts of Saudi Arabia, India, especially, and also Southeast Asia. So those areas are getting more and more humid. They're going to be inhospitable in the near term. Probably in the next 20 years, those areas in the could be inhospitable. Nobody would be able to live there and survive because the dew points are just so high, humans cannot function. So that's food for thought right there. Okay, there's a lot of interesting things here we can look at here. Now let's go and look at the particle situation, and that, of course, has to do with the smoke that we want to talk about here. The smoke from these wildfires that continue to burn. So we are now looking at the MODIS satellite, and you can see some smoke up here. It looks like up in northern Canada, some smoke, and also over here. And there's still fires burning here in Alaska. That's still ongoing. That's an ongoing issue. We'll go to yesterday's, where I can show you some more layers here, and show you. I'll put in more layers. So you can see all the smoke. These fires continue to burn all over the state of Alaska, pouring into the Arctic Circle, to the Northwest Territories. Maybe some more fires there, and all this helps darken the ice. The soot particles get on the ice, darken it, causing more melting and making it warmer still, which causes even more melting. And that's not the only area there are fires going. There are fires going in Siberia too as well. We'll be able to see some fairly large ones here. Looks like there's a large one. Oh yeah, they're all over, right over here. It looks like there are some thunderstorms on this, but these thunderstorms may just produce dry lightning, which starts more fires. So that's a concern right there. So you have still these fires burning all over the Arctic, and the Arctic is just burning. The Arctic is burning. It's crazy. The Arctic is burning. A place that's supposed to be cool is burning. I mean, that is messed up. I'm sorry, but that is really messed up. So let's go back to the Earth. Let's go back to the Earth Null School site and look at this. Can show up the smoke nicely. It looks like there is some stuff over here. Some of this may just be due to combustion from vehicles. The particles are you have to actually look at the gases. I think the chemicals actually show you a little more when you look at the. I guess this one. It's this one. You can see it shows you up the fires. The fires are not as bad as they were, but they're still there. You can still see them. They're still there. And it looks like a lot of stuff over the northeast. So we have a lot of pollution. A lot of this is from cars and the burning of combustion engines, because we shouldn't be using so many combustion engines. It's interesting to look at all these different layers and see. I'm going to go back to the particles one. Look at this one. Sulfur dioxide, and then this PM10. So, and then you have the dust. This also is for the dust. So when I use this setting, I can look at the dust and show all the dust coming off Africa. So you also have a lot of dust coming off Africa. This actually helps. This actually helps us in a way, because this dust inhibits the development of any tropical storms or hurricanes in the Cape Verde area. So this keeps their activity down in this area. But that doesn't mean we'll be safe. Just because there may not be as many hurricanes or as many tropical storms doesn't mean that it won't be a bad year, because the pattern the way it is right now, it can, if anything forms, it would go right up the East Coast. We don't have that jet stream to kick out the heat. So, and the humidity coming up from the south, we don't have that. And with the heat and humidity, you could have a tropical storm. So that's something else to think about. That is something else to think about. Let me go back to the air, and let me go back to the ocean and look at sea surface temperatures again off the East Coast. Actual sea surface temperatures. Why isn't this displaying? That's weird. Alright, we'll have to go back one. Alright, let's look at the actual sea surface temperatures that we're seeing off the United States East Coast right now, because they are above normal. And we're going to take a look at this right now. So, let me move this over here. So, according to this, south of Long Island, water temperature is 75 degrees. That is definitely above normal. We're only in July. Our sea surface temperatures don't peak until the end of August, so this is going to go higher. And off the Jersey Shore, we still have those water temperatures near 80 degrees. And then if you go a little bit further offshore, we have that tongue of water that's over 80 degrees. This is where tropical systems can develop and hurricanes, and you have some really warm waters over here in the Caribbean. And these are the areas you have to watch for hurricanes developing, of course, as we know. So I think that does it looking over what is going on across our planet, mainly North America. I mean, I focus mainly on that. But it's just more of the same as we deal with this climate emergency. This video isn't over yet, because I'm going to have a rant about SUVs and about people who think that they're doing something good for the climate when they're really not. Okay, this is going to be my rant about SUVs, because it's out of control with these SUVs. You see more and more of them. This has been going on for a long time now, but it's getting even worse in the past couple of years, where you just see more and more SUVs. Yes, this is Belmar. Lots of luxury SUVs, because a certain demographic likes to drive them. They don't care that they emit 5 times as much greenhouse gas as a car. They don't care about that. And you know what's going on? Car manufacturers are actually discontinuing cars and making SUVs. Ford, Chevy, and now Volkswagen have announced that they're eliminating the Golf, and they're going to focus on 3 new SUVs. Toyota's going to make more SUVs. We are going backwards. We are making bigger vehicles that consume more fuel and put more carbon dioxide into the air. What the heck is going on? What the heck is going on? These things are just an example of the excessive lifestyle we are living, especially in this country. And Wall Street loves this. They want us to keep driving these things. It's out of control. I mean, it seems like there are just more and more SUVs, pickup trucks on the road. Nobody needs an SUV, especially on Long Island. We don't have mountains here. What do you need an SUV? You're not going off-road. Whatever happened to the family car? When we grew up, you had the family car. That's what you had. 4-seater sedan. That was what we had. And that was fine. We did fine. We don't need these huge SUVs. And they don't even have that much more room than a car. But everybody's got to keep driving these things, and they just keep getting bigger, and they have bigger engines in them. They consume more fuel. They put off more carbon dioxide, more heat, and nothing is done about it. Nothing is done about it. It's out of control. And the whole world is looking at us and at our excessive lifestyle, especially here in the United States, and thinking, what is wrong with those Americans? Don't they see what's going on? Don't they see what's happening to this planet? Don't they see? And then you have people like our governor, Andrew Cuomo, who says, well, I'm going to combat climate change. I'm going to combat climate change. We're going to declare a climate emergency. We're going to have mandate all electric generation by 2040. But what about all the bus service cuts? What about all the transportation problems? What about all the problems that are causing more and more people to drive in this state? Long Island keeps having more people move to it, and yet we keep cutting public transportation. Look at Nice Bus and the disaster it's been. Look at the Long Island Railroad, constant problems all the time. People can't count on the public transportation to get around. They're going to get in their cars and burn more fuel, putting more greenhouse gas into the air. What about that, Mr. Cuomo? Hasn't done a damn thing about that. Oh, let's ban plastic bags because they're bad for the environment. What about banning SUVs? What about that? If you're really serious about doing something about climate change, we get less vehicles on the road, less SUVs, less traffic. And then look at this. This weekend, service shut down on the main line. They don't provide shuttle buses. They urge people, drive to the Babylon branch. Drive to the Babylon branch, and let's create even more pollution by driving all the way to the Babylon branch and clogging up the roads with more traffic because you can't provide shuttle buses between Mineola and Hicksville, which would be a hell of a lot more efficient than all these vehicles on the road, just because we have a government in this state that is controlled by Wall Street. Wall Street. That's who controls the government. They don't want to see this end. They want to keep us consuming like it's no tomorrow. They don't care about traffic jams. They don't care about that. No, they don't care that everybody's going to be sitting in traffic as we die in massive hurricanes and stuff. Cuomo's just laughing. He thinks this is funny. He thinks this is a joke. He thinks he can pull one over saying, oh, look, I care about the environment, when he really doesn't care about the environment because he ain't doing a damn thing to get people out of their cars and onto mass transit, especially in the suburbs. This is where the problems lie. What has he done for Long Island Transit? And News 12, all they talk about is our jackass, blowhard president, Donald Trump, worst president ever for the environment. But Wall Street loves him. Wall Street loves him. They don't care that the greenhouse gas emissions are going way up under him. Climate change is out of control with these forest fires, smoking up our skies. Yet nobody in the news is talking about it. No, because they want to gear to the demographic that Donald Trump represents. The white finance professional, the bigot, the narrow-minded person, the jerk, the buffoon. That's what they want to gear to. And the young people aspire to be like this couple here. They all want to be like this couple. Sunglasses in the hair, the preppy look, everything. This is what they idolize. Meanwhile, train service gets shut down. People have to get in their cars and get stranded. Sorry, you're on your own. Who cares that there's going to be more climate change? Let me tell you something. We are screwed. We are so screwed. Because the way humanity is going, especially in this country, we are going to head to the breakdown of civilization. We are going to head toward the end of the world for humanity. And nobody seems to realize what's going on. As the Arctic burns, as the sea levels rise, as glaciers break off and melt into the sea, as it's 80 degrees on Alaska, everybody's blissfully unaware that an extinction is coming. All because of our greed. You thought the dinosaurs were full of themselves. Well, us humans are full of ourselves. What do you need the big SUV for? What do you need the pickup truck for? Why do we need to be consuming all this energy for? We don't need to be consuming all this energy. What do you need that big, heavy SUV that gets 15 miles to a gallon? What do you need that thing for? You know, if our government officials were really serious about doing something about climate change and declaring a climate emergency, that means SUVs get off the road. All SUVs banned for private use within 1 year. Within 1 year, the government will buy them back like cash for clunkers, and we will melt them down, melt the steel down, and build new railroads, and build a new rail network in the state. Melt all these damn SUVs down. Melt them all down. SUVs, pickup trucks, you don't need them. I don't care if people are going to dislike me over this. I don't care. Somebody has to speak up about this. We've got to stop driving these goddamn SUVs, these pickup trucks, for no freaking reason. Unless you actually need one and live down a dirt road or are a work person that needs it for the tools, you should not be allowed to have an SUV. That's the way I feel. Or pickup. No. No. All right? That's the bottom line. This climate change started getting out of control when the SUVs became popular. I think the SUVs are directly linked to runaway climate change. All right? People drove cars for a while, and yes, it's bad enough that people are driving cars which burn gas. But cars are much more efficient than SUVs. Ban SUVs, then you get people on mass transit. Instead of cutting buses, you improve bus service. Forget about nice, bring MTA back. Let's get Queen-style bus service on all Long Island, where people go to the bus stop and they don't have to wait more than 10 minutes for a bus to come. How about that, Mr. Cuomo? How about that, Laura Curran? How about that, Steve Ballone? How about that? And the Long Island Railroad needs to be more reliable, stop having so many signal problems, and fix your infrastructure for everybody so people can count on it instead of having to drive 30 minutes to the South Shore just to get a reliable train. How about that? Banning plastic bags is not enough. It's not enough that, all right, we're going to build more wind power or build more solar, but it's not enough. We've got to stop burning fossil fuels. Period. Now, not tomorrow, not 10 years from now. We need to do it now. And we first go after those who burn the most. These SUVs, these pickup trucks, get them off the road. Every single one of them. Melt them down, destroy them. All right? Use the steel for the railroads that we're going to build. We need lots more railroads across this country. A high-speed rail network. Not so many planes in the sky. I've been making videos about climate for a very long time. Many other people have too, and are frustrated with the direction this country is heading in. Instead of moving toward, doing something about the climate emergency, we're actually moving backwards. We're consuming fuel like it's going out of style. So that concludes this video. That concludes this rant. I had to make this rant about this because I'm very frustrated with the media, with the government, with everybody. As this climate crisis continues to get worse, and no one, especially in the United States, is doing a damn thing about it. All they do is run their mouth. They're not doing anything. We need more action and less words. Get these damn SUVs off the road. Start seizing them, take them away, melt them down, get these things off the road. It's not un-American to care about the planet. It's totally American to care about the planet. And these SUVs need to go. That's it for this video.